Cost and performance monitoring.
First of all, why monitoring? They're likely to reflect major business objectives as well as more detailed operational requirements. It is important to be aware of the role of use and distribution within the context of the company's own corporate objectives. It's also essential that the control system reflects the integrated nature of logistics within an organization. There are some points that you can get an idea to why monitoring is important.
The different approaches to cost and performance monitoring. Now we'll have a look in the different approaches to cost and performance. First, the balanced scorecard. This approach translates the strategic mission of a business operation into tangible objectives and measures. This helps companies to identify and improve their internal operations to their external outcomes by measuring past performance data and provides organization with feedback on how to make better decisions in the future.
The SCORE model. Well, SCORE means Supply Chain Operations Reference Model. It's an important approach that is being developed as an aid to cost and performance monitoring. It is very much a process-oriented approach where the initial aim is to benchmark, refine and improve a key promotional process, and then to identify and introduce key measures that monitor the set and cost performance targets.
Integrated supply chain approach. An integrated supply chain approach recognizes that total systems approach can be adapted for the whole business or supply chain and that any performance metrics should be developed on this basis. This strategy brings as many links of the chain as possible into a closer working relationship with each other.
The operational approach. The approach discussed so far can be fairly complicated, so more simple and straightforward operational approach is something the most appropriate for small or medium-sized companies. A company must first determine the scope of the activities that need to be considered, taking into account of overall logistic requirements and objectives as well the traditional components of the functional subsystem. There are some points that you can make an idea of how to make it your operational approach, but remember, keep it simple.
What to measure? There are a number of different approaches that can be adapted to determine appropriate goals. Most well-developed systems are internal budget-oriented, but are also linked to external performance measures.
The historical data. These are systems that merely compare to overarching costs on a period by period basis may not be providing any useful information that can be used to monitor operational performance. Uh, and as an example, as a measure can indicate that the cost distribution for company has reduced a percentage of total revenue for this year compared to last year.
Budget is used to evaluate the cost of the logistics operation in relation to the expectations of the budget plan. With this, we can identify and differentiate between functional activities and, more importantly, across core business-oriented activities. An additional development in this concept of flexible budgeting, which recognizing one of the key issues of monitoring. This is particularly important in the logistics environment, where any reduction in volume throughput can lead to the underperformance of resources.
The engineer standards. This involves the identification of detailed measures for set tasks and operation, and it is particularly appropriate for many key warehousing tasks, especially picking operation. The means of determining this measure is a lengthy and often costly process involving the use of time and work study techniques, but the accuracy of measure provides the basis of a powerful measuring tool. Uh, they should cover the three main operations: vehicle preparation center and logistics of the distribution, running driving time, and road selection and delivery time.
External standards and benchmarking. The aim is to identify appropriate world-class or best-in-class standards across a whole range of different organizations and operations. This enables a company performance to be compared with the very best in an industry. The intention is that a company performance can be compared to similar external operations and standards making comparison more realistic and therefore more valuable. A logistics operation planning and control system. The operation plan should be drawn up the base around the operational parameters or cost centers that are to be used. This will show how costs are to be split by period, by functional elements, by logistic component, and by activity. Here, the budget is used as the basis for providing quantitative objectives for the relevant elements to be monitored within the logistic operation.
What does it could be the purpose if we don't have a good practice? There are a number of key areas that good practices should be considered when developing the detail of an effective cost and performance monitoring and control center. They can be broadly categorized as principles, content, and output. But the most important, they need to follow the need to click cost categories, the use of flexible budgeting, of the use of the variance analysis, the clarification of control value and non-control value elements, and the use of reference points against which the monitor elements can be measured. In the end, the practice make the teacher.
Influencing factors. If this is the major use of a monitoring system, there is essential that there is a broad understanding of any different operational factors that might influence the apparent effectiveness or efficiency of one operation compared to another. Some companies will do this across their own operations. It is also common practice for some of the major users of dedicated contract operation to compare how well the contractor is performing against the others. Detailed metrics and KPIs. For logistics operation, it is possible to identify certain key measures or metrics that provide an appropriate summary measurement of the operation as a whole and of the major elements of the operation. The KPIs can be recognized in a number of different ways. They can be measures of input, time, labor cost, output, throughput, production profit, ratio, efficiency, and productivity. The presentation of metrics. A good cost and performance monitoring system will cover all the major elements of a business operation. But aside from the importance of accuracy of the data, it will be only effective if it is presented in a usable and clear format. For example, a measurement or process calculations for the dashboards.
We are thankful for your attention. We are Susana and Diego. This is our product. Thank you.
Thank you.